camera, microphones, camera. This could be a little over the top for cameras, but we're gonna see what happens. Let's get cozied up for this. Eyebrow check. Dust myself out. Oh, see? What is this? Oh, this is lint. All right, looking good. Looking good here, looking good here, looking good there, looking good here. Is it possible to forgive the unforgivable? One of my big issues in life can be forgiveness. I've forgiven a lot of people for a lot of things, but I'm talking about like the things that people do. Sabotage your life, like ruin your life kind of things. I want to say I would be able to forgive. I don't know. It's one of my weaknesses for sure. But I read a book called The Energy Codes by Sue Morter, and it changed my perspective on forgiveness and the people that we perceive as our enemies. And she talks about she calls it the bus stop conversation. I've always referred to it as the cosmic bus stop after I read it. Just for the sake of this, I don't care what you believe. For the sake of this, assume reincarnation is a thing. We live a life, we die. We decide we're coming back to do it all over again. And assume that we come back over and over again. And the idea is we come back to learn new things, to expand our consciousness, to learn the lesson, so that next time we come back and reincarnate, we don't have to learn the same lessons over and over. And what that does is helps expand our consciousness. Right before we reincarnate, we kind of go to this, call it the bus stop. It's like the stop right before you come back into the world. And your soul group, let's say your soul friends are there. Another theory is that we reincarnate as soul groups. So the same people over and over playing different roles. For instance, my wife at some point could have been my father. My brother could have been my best friend's wife. Any possibility, but same kind of soul groups. And so you reincarnate over and over together. Same groups of souls in playing different roles. The cool thing about that to me is that sometimes when you meet people, you have that instant connection. Well, those are probably people you've had past lives with. Flip side, people you meet them and you go, something creepy about that dude, something I don't like about that person, something isn't jiving. That's bleed through from a past life that you may have had together. So for the bus stop conversation, essentially imagine your soul group getting ready to reincarnate. Let's say I'm having a conversation with one of my soul people, my soul group, and I go, what are you going back for? Like, what are we doing this again? It's not the easiest thing in the world. Like, we're going back to this kind of heavy energy, emotional place. What are we doing? Why are we doing this? The other person says, well, this time I need to go back and learn the ultimate forgiveness. And they say to me, what are you going back for? And I say, well, this time I'm going back to learn how to live with guilt. Like, I have to live a guilty life. I've lived a pretty easy, carefree, no guilt, I've never hurt anybody kind of life. This time I need to go back and be guilty. The other person says, well, let's make a deal. And I go, I'm yours. What are we making a deal for? And they say, I need to learn to forgive, ultimate forgiveness. You need to learn to live with guilt. How about you kill my family as a drunk driver? So they're suggesting I be a drunk driver, kill their family in a car accident. And I go, whoa, that's tough. But I agree. And I say, all right, that's a deal. They say thank you, and we reincarnate. We go to the big bright light, and here we are as little babies. We've forgotten this deal that we've made. What do we know? We're just born. We've forgotten the deal that we made. That is a cosmic agreement that we have no idea about. So we go through our lives and we grow up. I go to the bar one night and I drink too much and I get behind the wheel of a car and kaboom, I kill a family. I kill a mother and 2 children, and I go to prison. Now, at that moment, I have fulfilled my contract because now I have to live with the guilt of killing a family as a drunk driver. The father of said family was not in the car at the time, and so he now has, his family is gone. He has to learn now to forgive me. It's the agreement we made. He has to learn to forgive me for running into his family and killing them. I have to learn to live with the ultimate guilt, which we do. So we go through life. He figures out how to forgive me. I live my whole life with the ultimate guilt, and then we die. We die. We, like we do time and time and time and time again. We die. And we meet up afterwards, and he says to me, "Thank you so much. That's exactly what I needed. Now that part of me is free. Now I've experienced ultimate forgiveness. Now my consciousness can expand." And I say, "Well, thank you for letting me even do that. Now I know what it is to live with the ultimate guilt, and I'm free of that. And so now I can live the rest of my lives. I don't need to learn that lesson again. I've learned that lesson." And the beautiful part about that to me, the most beautiful part is that sometimes the people we have in our lives who we think are our biggest enemies are actually the people who love us the most. As a soul, they're the people that love us the most because they were willing to do for us what maybe no other soul would do for them to help their consciousness expand. So sometimes we have just people in life that we feel are ruining our lives. And there's no way I can forgive them. There's no way I could ever forgive them for what they've done to me. How dare they, right? Could be a spouse that cheats on you. It could be a friend that betrays you. It could be, even heavier than that. It could be a lot of things. Whatever your major traumas are that you're having trouble forgiving people for, that I have trouble forgiving people for, those just may be the people who are willing to do for you what nobody else would do. And so on a soul level, they're possibly the people that love you the very, very most. So something to think about. I've always had trouble with forgiveness, and so I've gotten much better at it. But I tend to, if somebody does me wrong, I can just shut them off. And at the end of the day, even when I just kind of shut people out of my life, it's not necessarily, I kind of just see it as there was a time for them to be in my life. I learned whatever I needed from them, and now it's not necessary anymore for them to be part of my day-to-day life. Anyway, if you struggle with forgiveness, like I do, that may be a better way just to make that little shift. Sue Morter says it way better, way more elegant in the book. I mean, she has a better way of explaining it, but I'm just I need to dumb things down for me. I'll see you when I see you next.